them truth. But right now, what we got coming to the stage, we have DROD the poet!
All the way to the stage, keep that fucking going.
It was his job and his mind to protect his fam. You see, Pops ran up in his mom's, then Pops just up and ran, and for them to fare well on welfare wasn't in the government's plan, so it was up to this young boy pushed to the position of man, because even on the sunny days, the storms would rain, and Mama now used crack rocks to ease the pain, so he started selling rocks in vain to keep Mama in supply. So no longer would she have to sell her body to niggas in the hood driving by. Only looking to find a good time and would beat him and his younger brother for no more reason than they would cry when at night these guys would come and climb and pry between their mother's thighs until her moans would cry to discomfort and would scream out, why? You see, those tears, they never wiped clean till after you turned 13, and while in those spots with niggas from the blocks learned how to make cream, because with cream came esteem, and with a check came respect, and with respect came power. So he said to himself, this was his time, this was his hour, and set out with a hunger to devour whoever was in his way, because nowadays in the whip, he had a banana clip AK, and for any brave soul in the residence window would climb, he had a black rhino hollow Tech 9, and doing crime in his mind was fine. He pulled his first homicide just after he turned 9, for the dude that was pimping his moms, and he shot him 5 times. Saw the fear in his eyes, felt the power like Bishop in Juice, and was known to checkmate fools on a daily basis. Took care of a lot of witnesses, so yeah, he beat a lot of cases, and he held down the block strong with a gun. But find out when you live your life by the gun, final judgment comes not only by a judge's gavel, but by another nigga with a bigger one. Another one of God's children dying way too young, and if not dead, then locked up still, unable to raise our sons, and we need to raise our sons. Be a manly God so they can rise past this ignorance and poverty line of today's sunrise and start a new day by dawn's early light, because every day is another battle in this war called life. Surrender is not an option, it's a must that we fight until we are no longer products of our environment, and we can persevere in spite of it. And it starts by teaching 2 things as simple as 2 wrongs don't make it right. Teaching not just the value of a dollar, but the value of a life, that we can be fathers, not just by sex partners, but by the partner of a wife. Faith, not in the almighty dollar, but in the almighty Father instead, and know that we can't simply pray and expect salvation, because faith without works is dead. Teach them to raise their heads and keep them held high, how to walk like men with people square in the eye, how to humble their hearts but instill a sense of pride. Teach them that life ain't easy, but say you gotta try, and that's why we gotta do all that we can if we ever hope to improve the position of man.
And keep that applause going for your second poet. Your second poet in the second round. Clap it up for Slim.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. 9 months, off key. I sung that to my belly. As a life grew inside, I was terrified of a heartbeat being connected to my own. Like if it ever stopped, would mine too? Like if it ever broke, would mine too? If I couldn't take my eyes off of you, did that mean that the second my eyes drifted away, your perfection would be damaged? This terror of not being able to protect a heartbeat once it leaves my body, encases itself completely on its own and exhales at a different pace than I do. Elements of this world that are out of my control happen every day. I fear that my fear got the best of me. Fear that my small frame couldn't support the weight of loving someone I haven't met yet. So I was met with blackouts, completely lost consciousness, questioned if this body was made to nurture, but then He emerged with all the answers, looked at me, certain that I was his mommy, and I made a promise to be a safe haven in a hellfire world met with ashes of doctors, igniting terms they refused to light. 2 years old, said he had a speech delay. 4 years old, threw out more terms, more conditions to describe his behavior. 5, landed on high functioning, autistic, but not put officially in the category. Let him dangle in diagnosis limbo, stuck in the middle with no place to move. This world can mimic how you felt in the womb, constricted, told that you're safe. When it was hard for me to breathe, did you lose oxygen? Was it enough to put your brain in this time warp of misunderstood beauty, this guilt that cannot possibly belong to me, but I wear like a cape, so I am always saving while putting my neck on the line. Times I would sing that song to you and wish I could see your smile. Now your smile creates notes that staff bars are jealous of, and I just want to rock that beautiful face in a bulletproof case, cause damn, isn't it traumatic to think of something that could happen before it even happens? Times when I would hold my breath, you would lose yours. Your anxiety grows as my belly did. You can rest under my ribs. Once again, a mother's discomfort makes it all better. Sing off key with me. We can drown the outside noise with our own notes. You are my heaven. I love to hold you so much.
I want y'all to give it up for ONYX on the way to the stage!
Let's go, poet!
I learned young to forget what I want and fold myself into a storage unit for the things mommy couldn't carry anymore. It's survival. When the people who are supposed to take care of you cannot take care of themselves. Silence and making space became habit. Now, the ghost of their breath grazes my neck. The shadows of their fingertips trace my thighs. They didn't ask my permission, but I think maybe it's my fault since they stopped when I got uncomfortable. I thought I wanted, I don't know why I feel like I take long walks. The trees say they have seen this all before. They say loss is permanent and also an opportunity for growth. When one tree in a forest dies, the decomposers feast and the nutrients sink into the soil. Maybe I am a forest instead of a goddamn storage unit. Maybe one of my trees died, but that shit was invasive anyway. So I listen to the trees. They say to take up space, to let parts of me die, to stand still in the rain, and I do. But I can't get clean. I call home and Lori asks what I could have done differently. I tell her it's all my fault. I let myself become a storage unit like before, with my body and my needs floating separate. I learned young to forget what I want and fold myself invisible. It's survival until it's not. 14 in the passenger seat, the rattle of mommy's voice, my closed lips, the mediator. 18 in my bed, their gaping body, my hands, the thread and needle. I come back to my body again. Swallow into the foam. Lori says, do the room, clean the laundry. I say okay, but the weight of their want is already seared into my bones. Trees can live through getting burned, but you can tell where and when it happened if you cut them down. I want this to be a part for me. I want to sleep without remembering their cut or the smell of their you be able to go to class without imagining their fingers up my pussy. I want to sleep. I want to sleep and dream of trees.
Coming to the stage right now, clap it up for Liz PRISLEY!
Got your shit, poet?
It's my turn, mate. That's my turn. The first time I was called a freak was on the playground in the 4th grade by a boy who told me he liked me. And I just walked away. He seemed surprised, like surely I hadn't heard him. Repeated it louder, said it over and over, I like you, I like you. I shrugged, said, so, and kept walking. Then, freak, you're just a freak. How abnormal it must have been for this boy who by the 4th grade already knew he owned everything around him, including me. Unusual. The idea that a woman could own herself, her body, her desire, this is certainly not the message that I received in my abstinence-only sex education class there. We watched a Christian youth pastor stick clear packing tape to the arm of girl after girl, compare their sexual activity to the skin cells clinging to the packing tape, told them they were dirty, said this is why their relationships don't stick. Made no mention of the boys shedding cells into all of the girls around them. Atypical. At 16, I'd never had a boyfriend before. My friends told me that any boyfriend was better than none. You could always trade up like job applications. Boyfriends always look for relevant experience. 3 of my classmates that year found out they were pregnant. 2 of them left school. 1 of them remained to watch the growing of her belly and the growing of the rumors that spread about her. None of them mentioned the father. Like somehow this 16-year-old girl had created a baby by herself, isolated. Like how it feels for an entire school to know you lost your virginity and judge you for it, right after they pressured you into it in the first place, irregular, like my heartbeat from time to time, or my period, or my self-worth, or my ability to look myself in the mirror deviant, like the look on the pharmacist's face when I asked for a plan B, or the man whose cells were swimming inside of me was not a man that I wanted to create a human being with, much less spend 5 more minutes around aberrant. The idea that a woman could want to have sex, but not want a baby. That a woman could own her sexuality without being owned by a man, or a pill, or a baby, how abnormal. Like the cells that my gynecologist identified in my body. But sitting there in that crinkly paper gown on that bed with protruding stirrups, I was too busy being relieved. The pregnancy test they forced me to take came back negative. I forgot I'm here to find out if I have cervical cancer. Because the sad truth is, in that moment, I would have rather had cancer than be pregnant. There is a solidarity for cancer survivors that evaporates in the face of unwed motherhood. Nobody donates to fundraisers for diapers or formula, so at least I'll rest assured that these abnormal cells can be scraped from my cervix in a procedure that will be so much less invasive than any boy who ever broke his way into my body.
Coming up to the stage, we have SUEDE the poet.
You gotta bring it, Sway! Bring it, Sway! Go, lady.
I wish I looked like you, Daddy, said my black son to me, his white father. I didn't bother to tell him that I wish that too. Now, don't get it misconstrued, that's just my truth. Or can anyone here tell me what the fuck to do? What do I do when he's no longer 6, when he's kicking it with his new clique, when he's riding 4 deep or shit, just passing through the sticks? Yeah, I was raised with Hicks. I was born of Hicks, born some Hicks, and I can handle the skin like this, but the moment that my son grows and goes to crossing Hicks, just picture this. He hears this clip. The last thing he hears is this clip. The final sound that sets itself on my son's ears for a second, summons his greatest fears, proves my greatest fears and shit. His mother and I robbed of years with him. His brothers, his sister lose their best friend. You miss out on hearing him, and he gets to miss out on a future he don't get to make an appearance in. If you only knew him, you would love him. Hugs from him are frequent. And because of him, my love is deepened and steeped in youthful resolve to move along the slope that is steepened. He gives me hope, something to believe in. And he keeps succeeding. With football, with reading, with cuddling up close to me and reaching into me and teaching me how to be a better human being. So tell me, how do I keep from seeing a knee on his neck until he ceases breathing? What actions can I take to keep him believing that his face, his race aren't mistakes, or that the skin that he's seeing isn't preventing grace from extending to him when churches of faith keep pretending to extend grace to him, though their faith is really a way to stay in a place of privilege over him? He's so young, so it's only started, but I'm already over it. My mind keeps going over it, and just the thought is sobering, so I'm mulling over the methods of molding him. Okay, rules for him. No hoods, hoodies, tank tops, no braids, twists, froze, or locks, no flip-flops, no eye contact with white cops, or black cops, or any cops. No running, no jogging, no walking, no shopping, no sleeping, because you know they're not knocking. No drinking, no eating, no stopping, no fleeing, no talking. They're talking, no talking, stop talking, hands up. No reaching, no stopping, no bleeding, no writing a check, no tires blown, no being a kid just on your way home, no riding 4 deep, no riding 3 deep, no riding with anyone other than me. But of course then, could we encounter someone who assumes you're a stranger instead of my son, whose impulse is to pull his gun, and before you can run, before I can say son, suddenly you're gone. Wow. Wow. So, no Skittles, no phones, no leaving home, no being at home, no friends around, not being on your own, no carrying, no tarrying, no wearing anything scary, and damn, I guess there's just no point. Son, I'm sorry to disappoint. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how to try. I don't know how to begin to decide if it's better to run or to hide, or to stand up and fight, figuratively fight. Figuratively fight with intelligence, with pride. Figuratively fight for your rights just as long as you literally stay alive.
Please clap it up for WHIT, the poet! WHIT, the motherfucking poet!
Let's go, Whit. Take the time. On that stage.
Let's go, baby.
I still remember how you did me. As dirty as the laundry in a hamper of a little boy's room, your mind and your common sense must have been left there too. Along with the ass whoopings that your mother never gave you, spare the rods for the child, and in this room is filled with your narcissistical, egotistical ass traits that I wish I could have broken down and buried underneath your bed of demons. You see, your skeletons began to grow skin. Getting more and more comfortable with just walking in your walk-in closet, they turned it into their sitting bar. Having conversations in their seats about whom can take the most shots at exposing all your insecurities. I get it. You never had a man or a father in your life to teach you how to be one. I couldn't imagine raising a little boy from you not knowing how to be man yourself. How could I dare trust you to raise one, let alone mine? You see, I'm grateful for my daughter. She'll understand how to distinguish love from lust. She'll understand that everything that glitters ain't gold. She'll understand that just because a man tells you he loves you, that don't mean you give him your heart to hold. She'll embrace the love of a father figure even though her own made poor decisions to not be there for her. She'll be coddled and strengthened into the arms of the man who took action to step up. She'll share sacred memories with him and never have to question what it's like being just a baby with no daddy. You see, I just knew I break generational curses in my family with you. And be the one to end this cliche, oh baby mamas, but even me, as strong-willed as I am, a woman of value, standards placed high, you were the one. No, not to marry, nor be the one that I love forever, but the one who damaged me good. The one who ripped out my heart from my chest just to patch it back on my sleeve and put it up for your own personal memoir. Place me in a museum of your memory at the top of the line and go, woman, you fucked over because you didn't know how to love properly. I swear to God, you made me hate you. And I don't mean this from a standpoint of love because I know that's what you're gonna say. I know the cliche. Women only say they hate you to the men that they really love. No, I really mean this shit coming from my soul. Every ounce of energy coming from my soul. These emotions ain't nothing new and if we're being 1,000% honest, yes, I'm a poet, but I'm also a human laying on my heart on this stage. So yes, sometimes I hate looking at my own flesh and blood wrapped its arms around me all those lonely nights when I was pregnant with her. Like brass instruments, isolation carved to my body, I still play with her. The way pain played down my spine like piano notes searching for the right chord. Me and her have a deeper connection than flesh can connect our souls. All on one accord, playing through the strings of life. She is my favorite instrument. I love to hear the sounds of her melodies and her cries. And to this day, I give my daughter all my love because regardless, I couldn't let your dysfunctional upbringing make me heartless.